What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Posttopostpod. With me, as always, is my co-host, Matt Small. Did you miss me last week, man?
Kinda.
Episode 22. Special shout-out to Joe Prioli for filling in for me last week. I was absent, and for that reason, this week's episode is going to be dedicated to my daughter, Emma Jean Ronan, born April 16th, 2021. 8 pounds, 12 ounces, and couldn't be happier, man. I'm like on cloud nine. It's a great feeling. It's very unique, too.
That's why we had Joe on last week. I was so shocked, man.
It was a nice change of pace too. I watched the episode in the hospital after you guys uploaded it and everything.
Right. We record on Fridays. Thursday afternoon, was it? I sent you we sent each other hockey stuff throughout the week, just to talk about. And then you responded within 2 minutes. You're like, "Hey, I'm on my way. The water broke. Let's go."
Yeah, water broke. My brother told me just call a plumber, dude. No problem. Have him come fix it. And yeah. Baby came Friday morning, 5:39 a.m.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's just, I'm ecstatic. It's great.
How was your night?
Not bad. I'm a little exhausted, back and forth to the
tired?
hospital, so still catching up, recovering. But we got so much to talk about with 2 weeks of no hockey talk. Talked about Lord of the Rings last week.
Talked about Lord of the Rings.
Lord Farquaad and the Twin Towers.
Right. You got to see me drop 3 Bombay shots.
Yeah.
Almost die.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was brutal.
Oh,
I gotta fulfill the contract, and I did.
Poor man. You poor man.
Poor bastard. I could have just lied and said I liked it, but I'm like, no.
So the way that I thought the contract was written, because I was actually there when you wrote it too, I thought it was just you had to do the report, and as long as you did one.
So you have to do the report, and you have to write in the report. You have to write the reasons why you liked it. Now, I put reasons why I liked it, but I also put reasons why I didn't like it. So
then you fulfilled the contract in my eyes. You wrote a report, and you put reasons why you liked it.
I didn't.
But you also roasted it.
But I also roasted the shit out of it, so I was like...
So I never really watched it, growing up and stuff. Some of my friends did. It wasn't really for me. Same thing with Harry Potter's. I haven't seen any of the Harry Potters, read the books. Not for me.
Yeah.
And one year, one day, one weekend, whatever, I binged, all 3 of them, and I was like, good movie, good time, but...
Yeah.
Not worth 9-10 hours. They're long, dude.
My girlfriend loves. At that time.
Sorry,
Potter
yeah.
For a
that
second.
was Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah, Lord of the Rings is long, man. The first one was just. I don't know, man. I didn't like it. They talked about the hobbits. It was all about the hobbits.
You hate the hobbits, man. You were hating on them.
Fucking hate
Dust
them.
their whole ancestors.
Hated them. And I think the reason why I liked the Twin Towers was because.
It's so funny, dude. You say it so nonchalantly.
Because we watched it on Discord with everyone.
Oh, yeah,
Joe
yeah.
and everyone. So I think with that it was better, but. And then I watched the third one. It was just me and Tower, and I'm like, this is just not good, man.
Glad I'm done.
They were doing stuff where just they'd raise the tension, some battle scene would happen, and then they would cut to the hobbits just walking up a mountain. I'm like, total tension killer.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, this is stupid.
While we're on the topic of TV, I don't know if I mentioned it on air last time. The Last Dance, Michael Jordan documentary. Did I mention that on the podcast?
Right, yeah.
Dude, I'm a year late, but that was phenomenal. I am not a basketball guy, but if you want something good to watch you should absolutely watch that. Even if you don't like basketball, it's so interesting seeing every deep dive on the teammates and their stories. Every episode is a different part of their careers. And
interesting.
Everything. It's wicked cool. And Dennis Rodman, you ever heard of him?
Yeah.
I've heard his name before, but I never knew who he was, dude. He's a madman. It's hilarious. Game 3 of one of the final series, he doesn't show up for practice for 2 days and just shows up at Game 4 ready to go. He was on WWE or wrestling with Hulk Hogan.
What?
Yeah. He just left because they were in Utah, which is very close to Vegas. So he went over there and did that real quick and came back. And he's just a lunatic. It's awesome. Man.
And the coaches and the organization was like, whatever, he's back.
The coach, because they're like, that's Dennis, that's Rodman. He'll be there if he wants to be there. And at one point in the season, he asked the coach, this was regular season, he's like, I need 48 hours. Let me go to Vegas. I'll be back. And Jordan's like, do not let him go. If you let him go, we'll never see him again. He's not coming back. And the coach is like, yeah, 48 hours. And then 48 hours goes by and then 72. And then eventually Jordan flies there. Is like, let's go, dude. Goes and gets him and has to bring him back.
Holy
Professional NBA
shit.
player. Yeah. Crazy, man. But it's just a wicked good story seeing how Jordan and Pippen work together and just, it's nuts. Jordan left the league because of a strike when played baseball. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Left the league because his father passed away. When played baseball, the baseball goes on strike for a season, and he ends up coming back to basketball. It's just insane.
I didn't know he played baseball at all. I thought when because later on in my life, I was like, oh, he actually did play baseball. Because, was it, what is that, Looney Tunes, the basketball game?
Space Jam.
Space Jam.
Mhm.
He was playing baseball there, and I thought it was just a character who was playing. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
wait a minute, no, it was actually a professional baseball player.
Yeah, and while he was that's in the documentary too. While he's filming Space Jam, he's having other NBA athletes fly out to the studio. He had them build a whole basketball court facility for him to practice, train, work out in. He would record all day, 9 to 5, probably longer, then go play 3, 4, 5 hours with the guys after, with the best players in the NBA.
God,
He's just a madman, huge competitor.
beast.
But
Beast
the
mode.
one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. It was awesome.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. I wish I had some documentary. It's funny. I do like documentaries, but I haven't watched. Actually,
I'm a big documentary guy.
we're watching some serial killer documentary. I can't remember what it was.
Those ones don't grip me as much. I don't know why.
It doesn't either.
I watched the Aaron Hernandez one just because that was what was up next after the Jordan one.
Mm-hmm.
But
I liked sorry. What was the the Cecil Hotel? Did you see that one?
No, I
at
haven't
all?
watched that one.
That was really good. Cecil Hotel is like in LA, but it's right next to I don't know what the hell they call it, but it's all the homeless around there, like a bunch of drugs and violence and murders happen everywhere. So in the Cecil Hotel, there's the top floors and people can live there, and so for cheap as shit. So the homeless people with a little more money live up there, but the problem is prostitution, people getting stabbed and shit.
No
Meanwhile,
way,
there's people
dude. That's
on the
wild.
the lower floors
normal people.
normal people just visiting LA and
Wow.
shit. And so it focuses on this girl who came in from Canada by herself. Shit, I can't remember her name. But the last video they have of her, it's kind of funny because they'll show it and you'll be like, oh my god, I've seen that on the internet before. She's in the elevator by herself, and she keeps pressing a bunch of buttons, and she's looking out of the elevator, but you don't see anyone at all. And she looks scared shitless, and then she just for some reason the elevator is not closed, the door's not closing at all, it's not moving up, and she just leaves, and that's the last time anyone saw her.
Yeah,
So it's
I
about-
know the clip.
It's
Yeah.
about that, and it's really good. That
Wow,
was one of my
that's
favorites.
funky. That gives me chills, dude.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's
That's weird.
It's what the hell happened to you? And the worst part is she's by herself, so you're like, what?
Yeah.
So that's actually really good. But we watched something about some murder. That was it. It was interesting in the beginning, but
Was it
at the
Making a
end,
Murderer?
I think no. It was
Because that one was their accents were terrible. They were from Wisconsin, and it was just oh my god, when does it end? And there was no resolution at the end of it.
Yeah.
It's
It's
and I
kind of
was
something similar at the end of this, where
tailed off.
I don't know. It's kind of. I think these are overplayed. I get people that like them, but at the same time, it's it's not interesting. Why the hell show it?
Yeah. I
know what I'm
mean,
saying?
the Making a Murderer one was it got me in for 3-4 episodes, and I was when does this end? And then someone spoiled it for me that
All right,
it's not really an ending, so I just kind of was all right, cool.
No, I'm
done.
not gonna watch it.
But I think we got to dive into some of these trades now, man.
Oh yeah.
We are a little bit behind with last week's shenanigans.
So I didn't mind it. I didn't mind being behind. I feel if we talked about the trades, man. Sorry, I'm dying today. I feel if we talked about the trades, we wouldn't have as much information as we do now. So
Yeah,
the
we can
fact
actually
that-
see who's producing for their new teams. and-
Right, exactly. So we got the trades that just happened. We also got what they're doing right now on the team and how well they're doing, how bad they're doing. We're seeing now the Parise and Zajac trade. It's just okay for them right now so far.
It'll be something, though. It'll be depth in the playoffs, and we'll get into it more.
Right, exactly. So you want to hop into it? Want to be the guy to do it?
Yeah, let's start off. First one we got here. This was the biggest one. Probably second biggest one, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah,
What do you
for sure.
think? This was the biggest one?
This was
This is Bruins Buffalo.
I still think the biggest one was that Zajac and Parise trade because I remember seeing that. I'm like, holy shit. And then the second one, I remember waking up in the morning to, and it was a notification that says Taylor Hall traded to the Bruins. I'm like, whoa, I didn't see that coming
Yeah,
at all.
so this is pretty big. So Bruins and Buffalo. Taylor Hall, with 50% of his salary retained by Buffalo, and Curtis Lazar going to the Bruins for Anders Bjork and a 2021 second-round pick.
That was a steal, by the way.
It was. I agree.
Absolute
A
steal.
second-round pick is a big piece.
Right.
Anders Bjork is a decent second, third-line player.
Easily, yep.
And Curtis Lazar is kind of just a throw-in, but that's getting Taylor Hall. It's great as long as he doesn't kill another organization like he has from jumping around team to team since he left New Jersey.
I didn't know that was a thing. He got traded, and all of a sudden I started seeing these Taylor Hall the Taylor Hall curse for like
Yeah.
the teams,
Yeah.
and I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah,
until I
it was
saw
after that MVP year in New Jersey when he put up insane points.
Oh Jesus! But yeah, Buffalo right now is
Spun it around a little bit, not crazy.
Yeah, but they're also at the end of the season. I think they're gonna do a whole like team revamp of everything. So the fact that they're getting a second round pick.
Mm-hmm.
This coming draft and on his Burek, I think that's a big pickup for them when they're going.
And they got youth to grow and develop.
Exactly. So it looks like a steal for the Bruins, but it's also Buffalo thinking like this is good for us to get to where we need to be.
Next up, we got L.A. and Pittsburgh. L.A. trading Jeff Carter, one of my favorite players, for a 2022 conditional third-round pick and a 2023 conditional fourth-round pick.
I like that. Jeff Carter's a great player. I do like the fact the conditionals. We figured out what the conditionals are, where you're just like they got to play up to par for what they are.
Jeff Carter needs to perform to a certain level, or the team does.
Exactly.
I think that's great for LA in a rebuild. You know, they're working their way up from the bottom again, and it's not 2 picks next year; it's 1 and then 1, so they can use both years to grow and develop. You good if I go to the next one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Next up, Toronto and Calgary. Calgary trading David Riddick, the goaltender, 50% salary retained to Calgary for a 2022 third-round pick. Kind of a low send.
Yeah.
Like a low payout by Toronto for David Riddick, and with 50% of the salary retained. So I think Toronto wins out on this trade.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely see that. I mean, Toronto, I don't know what they're going to do goalie. They have, like, Jack Campbell, Freddie Anderson. I don't know what their thought was.
I think their thought is this season and probably next season, they're going to be looking at, we need depth in net with all these other teams that have it too. Another team like this is Florida with Spencer Knight, Dreger, and Bobrovsky we're going to get into. But a team like Toronto might need a third goalie in case one of their goalies goes into COVID protocol.
Right.
You know, a good taxi squad goalie to have to call up.
That makes sense. And
especially for the playoffs, you know, that could be very important.
And David Riddick's pretty solid. I mean,
he's played well in Toronto, I think. We're going to go into his stats too.
Right, exactly. He's had a few good seasons, but I don't think up to par for, like, I don't think you'd say a starter, but a good backup at least, right?
Definitely. He could mix in with Campbell when Campbell's not the hottest goalie in the league.
Easily. You know? So easy, like, you know, third string goalie, I'd say. Yeah.
Next up, we have a 3-way trade. We don't see these too often in the NHL. Columbus, Toronto, San Jose. Columbus trades Nick Foligno to Toronto for a 2021 first-round pick and a 2022 fourth-round pick. That's huge. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And Nick Foligno is worth that, for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The Sharks then received a 2021 fourth-round pick from Toronto for Stefan Noesen.
Yeah, I couldn't find much on Stefan Noesen. I think, I don't know if, I'm not too sure what, yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of interesting because neither of them are negatives, but the phrase that comes to my mind is the devil you know is better than the devil you don't.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's good for the Sharks. Oh, no, I'm sorry, for Toronto getting Stefan Noesen. You know what he is.
Right.
A fourth-round pick, like, you could draft poorly and he could turn out to be nobody, you know?
Exactly. And, like, I mean, these the scouts and everything, they know these guys. Like, you look up Stefan Noesen, you're like, who is this guy? But it's the same as, like, early in the season when remember I was like, why isn't Washington signing, like, Phoenix Copley instead of not Kevin Lankin and Vitek Vanacek? Like, who the hell is this guy? And then, like,
I sent you something on Copley this week too. Did you see that he was fighting someone in a game?
Oh yeah,
he got into a scrum. That was cool to see.
Right,
good to see his name pop back up.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have Calgary and Florida. So Calgary and Toronto being pretty active here.
Right.
Florida traded Emil Heineman and a 2022 second-round pick for Sam Bennett and a 2022 sixth-round pick.
Oh, yeah.
Sam Bennett's a good player.
Sam Bennett's a really good player.
Yeah.
That's a good pickup for them.
And, I mean, they got a second-round pick next year. Right. Not next year, the year after.
Yeah, right, yep.
But that's solid. Solid return for him.
Solid move.
And this was the one that caught my eye the most. Absolutely fleeced Washington and Detroit here.
Oh, my God.
Capitals sent Richard Panik, Jacob Vrana, 2021 first-round pick and 2022 second-round pick for Anthony Mantha.
Now, Detroit got it.
They just robbed him, man.
They
held him up at gunpoint.
But Anthony Mantha at the same time, great.
He's
great player.
Good, but he's not.
I don't think he's worth that much.
I would probably do like Panik in a first.
Right.
For Mantha, however you say it.
But I feel like if you're Detroit, and same thing, we were talking about Buffalo, they're going to be going through a whole like team revamp.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure if they saw that,
they're
like,
could.
yeah, we'll take that.
Oh, yeah.
Take Mantha.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking Washington must have been looking to get him, and Detroit was like, we need more, and just kept telling them like, we got someone else on the line for this.
Right.
And they're like, okay,
Okay.
here you go. Here's my wallet too. All right, another 3-way trade here: Vegas, Chicago, San Jose. Vegas gets Matthias Janmark, Nick DeSimone, and 2022 5th-round pick from Chicago, and San Jose in exchange for a 2021 2nd-round pick and 2022 3rd-round pick. San Jose ends up getting a 2022 5th-round pick.
Mm-hmm. Bunch of picks here. I think the biggest pickup for Vegas, Matthias Janmark.
Yeah.
The past few games that I've seen, I guess they're really only highlights, but Matthias Janmark, you probably won't see him with goals, but I think more so assists. He's a big playmaker. He just seems to have the puck and be able to like control it and just like find the right path to players.
Mm-hmm. Good setup guy.
Right,
Kind of like
exactly.
a David Krejci.
Right.
Like a tier below.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Sometimes if you see a player's stat, a lot of times Matthias Janmark's probably not a good situation for this, but like if you
The
see
stats don't reflect what they actually do on the ice.
exactly,
Is that where you're going?
right,
Yeah.
yeah. So you just say like 1 goal, 1 assist. You're like, what does this guy do? But if you watch him, you're like, oh no, he's a playmaker. He might not get the
or you
assist.
look at the plus minus or the Corsi, you know.
Exactly.
Next up, Colorado and Chicago. Chicago very active as well here.
Right.
Colorado gets Carl Soderberg in exchange for Josh Dickinson and the rights to Ryder Rolston.
So looking up Ryder Rolston, and
That's interesting, the rights to him.
The rights to him.
So that means he's a prospect, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So he must be a good prospect. I tried looking him up, not much on him. So again, probably prospect, but Carl Soderberg is a
Decent third line guy, right?
decent, third, fourth round guy. Third, fourth line guy. So I don't know. Colorado, Chicago. I feel like that was good. That was a good
Yeah,
move.
I mean, for Colorado to get Soderberg, that's good depth for the for the postseason.
Right.
And then like that's how a lot of these moves look. Like Colorado got the better guy in this trade,
Right.
but Chicago's looking at the future.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Colorado needs the better guy right now, and Chicago needs the future.
And I think that's what we're seeing here throughout this entire
Yes,
thing. It's like
definitely.
one team looking for now, the other team looking for future drafts and stuff.
And that's
yeah.
why you look at them and you're like, wow, this team really won. But when it comes to the futures, you don't really know
You don't
until they're
know,
drafted and what they become.
Exactly.
But again, like devil you know is better than the devil you don't, especially. But I mean, for these poor teams, you kind of need the devil you don't know because the future is in the draft.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
And then last up, Chicago again with Vancouver getting Adam Gaudette in exchange for Matthew Highmore. Gaudette's a big name, right?
Gaudette is a great big name. If you look up Adam Gaudette, man, especially look up Gaudette in Vancouver. He's again one of those players that he'll score, he'll get the assists, but at the same time, if you watch like any Vancouver games, you'll always hear his name just around the ice.
Heads
or
up
just having
player.
the puck, heads up player. So great player to have, especially for Chicago. Chicago's, I think, looking to really get there with their team. I think they have it. They have the team just ready to go. I think they're looking for the guys that we're talking about. Jonathan Toews being out with. I don't know what it is.
It almost seems like this Chicago team, they got blindsided with like all these players are kind of leaving before they were planning for it,
Right.
and now they're SOL and they have to rebuild. They've basically had their hands forced.
Exactly.
Where they were planning to have Taves build up the next guy, now they don't have that presence
No, they
to
don't
teach
have
the
that.
rookies.
They don't have the veteran goaltender Henrik Lundqvist. He was out.
We were talking Chicago, right?
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
We were on
Washington.
Chicago, though, right?
We're on Chicago.
Okay.
Sorry, I messed up.
But
I saw
Crawford
red.
was
But
the
Crawford
name you were
was
gonna name, 'cause he
Crawford.
left.
He left. He's gone. I don't know. It's just like it's rough for a team in that situation where like you start the season, a bunch of guys are just like, I'm gonna retire.
I mean,
But we saw that in the beginning of the season, though. We are just like a few games, or I'd say a few weeks in, all of a sudden, like these guys just like retiring.
yeah.
Like Jimmy Howard retired. Was it 2 or 3 weeks in?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh well, good for him, man. Like he's just done. But I was watching a podcast with they were interviewing Jimmy Howard, and they're just like, so what was the plan to retire? And it's like, just done. And he was just like COVID. And he goes, I was just sick of like getting pucks,
Didn't
like
wanna deal
taking
with it?
pucks. Like it was like I'm just done. I was like, oh, I thought there was gonna be like more.
No
of
better story.
No better story. It was just like. It was just like COVID. It was just weird to like not fancy
Yeah.
anything. I just wasn't feeling it anymore. I didn't want to get hit with the pucks anymore. He goes, I was just like, yeah, I'm done.
Another player like that is Dustin Bufflin, just the way he fizzled out of the league and didn't really care.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Okay.
from what I hear, he's never really been like crazy go-go hockey, but just been really good at it and like
Right.
did it to make a living. And now he's like, yeah, I could be done. I'm
Yeah.
done. And then just
See you later.
not even like rides off into the sunset, just kind of like takes the back door and does Irish goodbye,
See
Crazy.
you later, buddy.
You want? I'll let you dive into these stats here if you want.
All right, yeah. So these are the stats for the players that were traded that I wrote down that were worth mentioning. Some probably not. It's definitely not all of what we talked about, but definitely big name players. One of them is Sam Bennett here. We just talked about him. He had 3 goals, 2 assists in the 4 games he's played with Florida, which that's big, man.
That's a big impact.
Yeah.
Only 4 games, you already got 5 points there.
As soon as I saw the name for Florida, I was like, damn, he's going to be good. But I was like, wow, 3 goals and 2 assists in just the 4 games.
And this is as of tonight, 4/23.
Right, exactly. And then Anthony Mantha, who we just talked about that big trade, 4 goals and 1 assist since getting traded to Washington. I think that's 4 goals and 1 assist in the 5 games he's played. I think last week or something like that, he was getting like at least a goal.
Yeah, averaging
every
a point per game.
Yeah, exactly. So big pickup there for Taylor Hall. The whole season with Buffalo Sabres, he only scored 2 goals.
I was gonna say, yeah.
And then he comes to the Bruins and he's got 2 goals, 2 assists since playing with them. So he's getting that. Yeah, he's getting there. He's getting that first
time.
line from what I've seen. Mm-hmm. So they're really throwing him up there and be like, hey, you're the guy. So
yep.
I don't know.
It's nice because in Buffalo he is the guy.
Right.
With Jack Eichel, it's them too, and now here he doesn't have to be the guy. We have Bergeron, Marchand, Pastrnak.
Right, exactly. So he can kind of lay back and make the pass, make the play instead of being forced to be like, hey,
he's not carrying
score.
the burden.
Exactly. David Rittich, who we just talked about, started 3 games since the trade with Toronto. He's 0-1-1
so I was
with
wrong.
them. So he's like,
my bad.
Yeah, he's just But again, I think we talked about goalies and going from team to team, where just like he went from a team that's different style of play to another team with another different style of play. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It could be just him just warming up.
2 different mentalities, too. Calgary's not looking at the playoff picture the same way that Toronto is.
Right. You want to talk about the story about him?
Yeah. Dive into it.
All right. So I saw a story about David Rittich, which is actually kind of funny. And this would only happen because of COVID. So he gets traded. He gets traded from Calgary to Toronto. And he had to take the same day. Was it the same day or same night?
So I think basically what happened, the schedule must have been that they played back-to-back because when Taylor Hall got traded to Buffalo, from Buffalo to Boston, this didn't happen, even though Boston and Buffalo were playing back-to-backs.
Right.
So I think there must have been a day in between, and Boston was like, we need you here to practice in between.
Right, exactly. So they had to take a bus. I mean, they took a bus. What the fuck am I trying to say?
From Calgary to Toronto.
From Calgary to Toronto.
Oh, sorry, other way around.
Toronto to Calgary, yes. And David Rittich with his old team had to jump on the bus, too.
As of like 20 minutes
and had
ago.
to go practice for them to play each other that next night. And he goes, it was just funny because the team that he knew was just giving him shit the entire time.
Trying to get in his head and get a free win.
How weird is that, man? It's like, oh, I'm the goalie you're now facing. And it wasn't even like, oh, I'm just going to sit on the bench. It's like, no, you're starting.
He's starting too, which was weird.
Yeah.
And he was wearing his Calgary Flames pads.
Right. He tried to put the blue on the...
Did you notice his helmet was Toronto, though?
Oh, really?
They did almost like a pad skins wrap, but for the helmet, which was wicked cool. They were able to get something on there before the game.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yep. I remember that now. Yep. I feel like Devin Dubnik, same thing with Colorado. Like it was like a quick transition with him. All of a sudden, like he got traded and then just had the colors. I don't know what the rule is for NHL goalies. Like, do you have to wear the colors? Or
no, like pad wise or helmet wise?
For both.
No. Remember Marty Turco with the Bruins? He had those ugly, Dallas Stars gold pads, and they did not match at all. They look like shit.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And then, you could wear all whites like Thomas did for a bit, black and whites,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It makes sense.
I think they have, as much freedom of creativity as they want, but who's really going to go outside the box and not do their own team's colors?
So the organization has to accept it. So
they do.
The goalie could sit there and customize it, but he's got to go through the organization, and they're just like, all right, you're good, then it can... Because I guess, especially Bauer, man, he could do anything you want with Bauer. So, imagine a goalie just be from Canada, just I don't know, white, red, and blue, just ball sack.
It'd be like that Whitest Kids You Know sketch where he goes into the office, and he's getting yelled at by his boss. He's like, it's just a shirt. He's like, the shirt says, fuck this job and fuck Brian. That's me. I'm Brian.
I'm Brian.
Get those approved.
So I guess in that sense, it's got to be approved. Fuck this team and fuck my coach.
Custom pads. Sick, dude.
Next up is Nick Foligno. He actually debuted last night, Thursday. He had 1 assist that game. The only reason why he took a while for him to debut is he had a quarantine before playing. Was it the post-game interview or the pre-game interview where
I feel like it was but I don't know.
He was rocking his father's 1993 Toronto Maple Leafs hat, and I'm like, this is incredible.
That's legendary. You got any old hats?
Sick. What?
You have any old hats? I'm a big hat guy.
I know you're a big hat guy. I got a bunch of hats kind of hanging out, but I don't think I have any old hats.
When I was a kid, they have duck tours around here in Boston, and they had this sick 90s denim hat with ducks on it. It says Boston Duck Tours. I still have it, dude. I rock that thing all the time. It's hilarious.
Does it say Duck Tours and then it has the swan and the boat on it?
Not the swan, wait, no.
Oh no, I'm thinking the swan boats.
Yeah, duck boats.
Don't worry about it.
But the thing has the 3 ducklings on there, and it's wicked shitty flat brim because it's been around for 20 years now. It's hilarious though, and I rock that thing. It's hilarious. So good.
That's great. I wonder if they still. Probably not.
They probably still sell it, but it's not a denim because no one wears denim anymore.
One. The most 90s thing ever too. Just
sure.
Denim everything.
Straight Canadian tuxedo, my overalls, and my denim hat.
My father put a photo of Shane when he was a kid next to, I'm assuming my cousins. So I'm like, who the hell are these kids? But it's funny. It's 90s, so they're just looking at him dressed. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah,
overall denims and shit. I'm like, what the fuck did we wear back then? So moving on from all that, Devin Dubnik, since being traded to Colorado, he's been 2-0 since, as of today. Pretty good.
I mean, I think
Not
that's
bad.
the team in front of him rather than him putting it up. It's not like he leaves San Jose and goes on a heater. I think it's just he's got a better team in front of him.
Exactly. Kyle Palmieri, after that trade, he played 8 games with 1 goal and 1 assist since getting traded to the Islanders. Travis Zajac played 7 games with 1 goal and 1 assist. He was a healthy scratch Thursday for Cal Clutterbuck's return since being out, which was undisclosed. So Cal Clutterbuck was out for I think 2 weeks or whatever for an undisclosed injury. They wouldn't say what it was, so I don't know. But so he's a healthy scratch. They brought him back in. I don't know if Travis Zajac is back, to be honest. Now I'm thinking about it. I think Cal Clutterbuck's in, so I don't know, but that's
more depth for the postseason,
Right,
exactly.
At the end
of the day.
So that's what we got with the trades so far. I'll be curious what to see. I'll be curious what the players do for the players that make the playoffs, because I feel like the playoffs is when all the teams really dig down and just really start to get shit going.
Yeah.
Whereas right now, I guess for a lot of teams though, the points are very you got to get the points, you got to save the points or whatever. But definitely when it comes to playoff time, you don't want to lose at all. It's not points or anything. It's just you don't lose.
This league's different where you don't see a lot of teams resting their players once they know they're good. Colorado and Vegas have clinched, but they're not resting guys. The NBA, the NFL, and the MLB all rest their starters and their pitchers leading into playoffs to make sure that they're ready to go and don't risk any injury.
Right. And then they don't really do that again.
They do a little bit, but not
probably toward the end
crazy.
of the season,
Maybe
right?
the last game or two.
Yeah. And it's especially if you're up, say if you're first in the league or whatever, and then your top guys are no, we need you guys.
And I feel you wouldn't want to bring in taxi squad outside players to come in during this, because what if there's an outbreak due to that?
Right.
So just play your guys,
Yeah. Oh damn, I didn't even think about that. Just a rough, weird situation with COVID and everything. So speaking about COVID, the OHL canceled their season due to COVID. The other 2 leagues have been allowed to play, which is the Western Hockey League and the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. The Quebec Major Juniors started its season in October 2nd and had it 8. What the fuck? I can't read today. And has its 18 teams play between 26 and 43 games. So I guess what that said is some teams are just I don't know. I guess they're too many players are on the COVID protocol or whatever, and they got to wait and schedule a new game.
So instead of making up and postponing,
that's what I was guessing.
The NHL does, they're just kind of if you have to cancel a game, it's canceled.
It's canceled, and that's why some teams again they've played 43 games. Some guys with 26, right? So the Western Hockey League started February 26th. Both leagues have played some of their games in multi-team protected environments, just like the bubble, which the NHL did last season. The Memorial Cup, which is the CHL Championship Tournament, was canceled on April 13th. It was scheduled to be played in Ontario, which has the strongest health restrictions in North America, which made returning to play extremely difficult. So,
I just still have my eyes on 2022, man. I can't wait for it to be a normal year and get back to it.
Just normal.
Once I'm vaccinated, I'm getting ready to go out and skate too.
Right. So I'm getting my vaccination tomorrow, the first one. So then I get one more, and then I'll be taking these bad boys. So I can't wait for us to stop playing. One, just to play, and two, just to bring this after like a nice sweaty game and just sit here and just smell our shitty helmets.
my bag goes right over in that corner too, so we'll be able to smell it over here.
It's gonna smell so bad down there. We're gonna have guests on. They'll be like, "What the hell's that smell?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it, buddy."
Heat of the summer too. Right.
Didn't even think about that. So, actually, before I didn't write it down. Could be something we talk about. But the IIHF, the women's hockey, today they came out and said that was canceled too. They were supposed to be in Nova Scotia.
It's like the Women's World Juniors?
Yeah, so there was two places they could have been to. I think it was like Nova Scotia and Ontario. But their thought was, one, they don't have like the money to do it. Like it's not like the NHL where just like, they can make a bubble or whatever and get it done. But what they said was their backup plan would have to be already in motion. So like in Ontario, they would have already had to like pay for and make the rooms and everything and the rinks available in Ontario, and pay for all of that. And also everything on Nova Scotia. So if Nova Scotia worked, that money in Ontario would just be wasted.
Yep.
And so they're banking on, just both working or just like Nova Scotia working at least. And they're just like, it doesn't for money wise and everything. It just doesn't make sense. So they just canceled it. So yeah, it's rough. I read a few of the women players that were rightfully upset, but I guess it is what it is. And next season,
tough to see.
So, no, it isn't tough to see though. Spencer Knight with his NHL debut and win, buddy. You see that? The Knight made 33 saves against the Blue Jackets Tuesday, getting his NHL debut and first NHL win.
I was so surprised to see a 5-1 win too. That's good numbers
nuts.
for him.
Right.
That's awesome.
I think I was talking to you about this the other week, where I think we're talking about Spencer Knight. Actually, we had a few weeks. Oh, did we save? Was that the week we saved Spencer Knight talk?
No, we ended up doing Florida Panthers breakdown already.
Oh, okay,
we covered that.
Yep. And I was like, I think we're going to see Spencer Knight play. And you're like, oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't know if it was just to see him play or not. But yeah, it was just to see him play.
It was great to see him play. Definitely making his rounds on Instagram, man. He's just been all over the place. But I have a question, though. Chris Driedger is a UFA at the end of this season. Do you think Chris Driedger's gone and Spencer Knight's going to get that backup spot?
No, I honestly don't. I think this goes back to teams being deep in net, especially with – I don't think it's going to be entirely normal again next season. I saw that the NHL is eyeballing October 12th as the start date of the 2022 season, and that's only 1 week later than a normal season. So they're going to have somewhat of a normal season next year, but they're still going to be facing the same issues in a way. Mm-hmm. And I think that they're going to want to be deep in net and have all three of them. And maybe a carousel situation like Washington.
Maybe. So you're saying Spencer Knight, third string goalie?
Yeah, definitely. Let them learn from Driedger and Bobrovsky.
Right. That's nuts, man.
What do you think?
I don't know. Like, the biggest thing would be, what's their cap space looking like? What's
Bobrovsky's taking up like a third of that.
I know. He's taking up everything, man. So it's like, it would depend on, we'd have to look up what the Florida Panthers cap space is going to look like at the end of the season and then go from there. If their cap space is good and they can sign Driedger for, I don't think I'd sign Driedger for maybe a 2-year contract and just go from there. So if they could
That's a good number.
Yeah. So if they could do like a 2-year contract with Driedger for like a decent price and put like Spencer Knight in the third string, yeah, like I'm all
What's
for
your
it.
number for Driedger, you think?
I would put him between for 2 years. I don't know, man. I'd put him between like 3 to 4 mil.
3 to 4 mil a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think any more than that.
I had him at I was pinning him at a 5.3 mil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I think he's done really well this season is why.
I think so too.
And I think that's the number that he's going to look for, and
Right.
maybe the compromise is in the middle at the 4.
Right.
Or maybe he walks and gets 5.3
And it just goes
somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Again, this is we're just gonna have to wait.
This is dumb idiots being dumb idiots.
Dumb idiots being dumb idiots. But
bozo
yeah,
to bozo.
I think I'm. I think next week we'll talk about. I do want to. I think it'll be too early. I think toward the end of the season, I think we should really talk about the seasons, what the cap space is, and maybe see what they could do. I think that'd be a good topic to talk about.
Definitely.
Actually, this is what the next one. So we'll save on to that. Do we want to talk about that?
Up to you.
One? So this is. We'll move on. I think because this is what I think I what's the word I'm looking for here? I think I pulled the string a little too early for this one, so we'll say this. The next topic for what I have written down is just talking about all the free agents after this season, especially for goalies. There's an absolute list of goalies that are UFA and RFA at the end of the season, and there's gonna be so many teams with salary cap issues or just plenty of salary cap space. The Bruins are going to have a shit ton of salary cap space. So, what the hell's that?
Read it for the rest of the crowd.
Where do you get this shit? So, Clown Shoes, which is chocolate sombrero Mexican-style chocolate stout. Ale brewed with natural flavors and natural flavors added. Why? Why did you do this?
Chocolate sombrero, bro.
Why? A bear? A chocolate bear? What the hell is wrong with you? Brewed and canned by Clown Shoes Beer in Boston, Mass. and Windsor, Vermont. They're gonna sponsor us, buddy?
No, man. Of course not. They're way too big league for us, man.
So yeah, we'll move on from that. We'll definitely talk about that toward the end of the season. I think that'll be fun to talk about with all you guys. Definitely would like to get you guys' input on everything because, we could all be wrong or all be right in this situation.
Would have been sick if I just did a nasty spit take everywhere.
What, right there? Well, I was thinking what's it taste? Does it taste like chocolate? Or I'm assuming chocolate milk and beer.
So I just had the Bubble Farm IPA from Clown Shoes, and my palate's a little wonky from that because IPAs are very bitter, way to the back, so... So stouts and porters are dark beers, but stouts are almost a bit lighter, more bubbly, more crisp. And then the chocolate flavor, you get an aftertaste. So it sips like a normal
beer.
Yeah,
or
a normal
IPA.
beer where a porter would be heavy, less bubbly,
right.
Where this sips and tastes kind of not like a light beer, but an
right.
ale.
An ale.
With the chocolate flavor and
interesting.
etc.
So it's like a chocolate after.
Yeah, definitely a chocolate aftertaste.
Huh, interesting.
Not as bitter as an IPA.
So you do like it?
Buddy, I like everything. The garbage disposal. There's not much I don't like.
I know. I've seen you. Oh, God. So we're going to move on to the next subject here. Kirill the Thrill. I had to throw that in there.
Absolutely.
Buddy.
This guy's a legend.
He set franchise record this week. Kirill Kaprizov passes Minnesota Wild's franchise record for goals scored by a rookie. Kaprizov currently has 19 goals and 19 assists in the 45 games he's played this season. Actually, I got an update right before we started this, and
he scored
got
again?
another goal. Yeah,
No way. Did you see his wraparound, dude?
Yes.
That was sick.
So sick. So he's so the Wild have a YouTube channel, and it's Becoming the Wild. Did you ever see that?
No, I haven't watched
And
it.
last week or 2 weeks ago, they did Kirill Kaprizov, and I keep seeing it, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll watch it today. So I watched it today before the podcast, and it's so funny. I know Kaprizov's a Russian name, but when you look at his face, you don't see it, and so he sounds like Ilya Bryzgalov. The 24/7 the big universe. That's what he sounds like.
Wow.
And so they're going through his he's got a $2.7 million contract with as a rookie. So he's going through his apartment in Minnesota, and he's opening up his fridge, and it's all normal stuff like eggs and stuff you would see, all healthy stuff. And all of a sudden on the bottom he pulls out these 2 cans. There's one that's dried fish. And another one is just like another canned fish. And he's like, oh, with like red tomato paste. And I'm like, what the fuck? And he goes, put this on bread and it's delicious. I'm like, you Russians, man.
Ugh.
You're on another level,
Fish
buddy.
bread for breakfast.
Fish bread for breakfast. So that's disgusting. But it's funny. So in that episode, he's you could tell like, he's coming. He's still kind of a kid. He's coming over here and they're just
He's
like,
young,
hey,
yeah.
play for Minnesota in the United States. So he knows more Russian. He's trying to learn English, but he knows, it's all Russian with him. So they're showing him. It was kind of funny because the camera was pointing at him. The coach was getting everyone together to go through like the drills, and everyone's kind of kneeling, but he's like kind of standing up, just like looking at it as like a stick. And I'm like, he's probably standing up, like not knowing what the hell the coach is even saying, just like whatever.
He's gonna watch the first guy do
I'll
it
start
and
shooting.
mimic it.
Yeah,
It's good.
exactly. Just like learn from that. I'm like, that's kind of fun,
Dude, that's something that like doesn't even get discussed. Like a language barrier on a team,
right?
where like you could have cliques of like these guys speak Swedish and they can just talk to each other,
Right.
and you have no idea what they're saying, like a Swedish line,
Right.
and they're just clicking, and then you have like the American line, the Canadian line, even with French,
Right.
and then Russians. It's nuts, man. Like,
So what is like? I want to know what the line with Kaprizov like is like. I'm sure the guy was like, pass me the puck, and Kaprizov's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
oh, I think he understands like pass, shoot, score, goal, celly. Definitely got those ones down at least.
Oh, for sure. He's definitely got the score pot right. So he passed Marian Gabourik's record of 18 goals back in 2000-2001 season. That's how long he's been around, man. Marian Gaborik. I saw that. I was like, whoa. So Kirill, I thought I said that wrong. So Kirill is an RFA at the end of this season. He's coming off again a 2-year, $2.7 million college. So Jesus, $2.7 million contract. You think he's going to get a bigger contract at the end of this year?
Billy's gonna put up the gif of who's the guy? Is it Vince McMahon? The gif of the dude. He's like sniffing the money at the WWE. You know what I'm talking about? He'll throw it here, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. He's getting paid, buddy. He's getting paid. Don't even worry about it. Don't even question it.
Billy, do you even know how to do GIFs?
He's gonna dust you, dude. Put another gif of like a baby sitting on Matt's head.
What do you think he's gonna get? I feel like it's not even gonna be like it's gonna be like a 5-year.
Well, he's RFA, so he can't shop around.
He can't.
He can negotiate his contract, his length, his money, obviously.
But the team has
the
full
rights to him.
So what are you thinking here? 4 or 5 years?
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was saying 4 or 5 mil.
Yeah, right. But how many years?
I would lock him in 4 or 5.
4 or 5 years.
As long as you can, for as little as you can, if you're the team.
Right.
And I mean, he's gonna want to get paid a little bit, but
Right.
if you can get him for a few extra years on a short contract, go for it. I think his goal right now should probably be to get a 3-year contract, $4 million, so that he can re-up again once he lights it up for a few more years.
Right, exactly.
You got to time it right. Get your payday when you can get it.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess as for a team, you don't want to see this and be like, oh, what if he's just having a good rookie season? Like,
yeah, that's
and just
it.
sign him for 4 years, and all
overpay
of a sudden it's just like, yeah. So, dude, I've been loving watching him play, man.
He's nasty, man. He's like
So
lights
sick.
out so fast.
So sick.
Just wicked heads up. Good with the puck.
He's got so many highlights too, like NHL, the app and everything. It's just like you constantly seeing like
The wraparound I was talking about. He comes in on not like a breakaway, but a one-on-one, takes a shot, and then it ends up going behind the net. The defenseman they get caught in like a game of chicken, and then he fakes him out and comes around with a wraparound before the goalie can get back in position.
So sick.
It's great.
So sick. So we're going to move on to John Tortorella here. So there is a rumor that's going around that says John Tortorella is leaving Columbus at the end of the season. Nothing is set in stone, but there's plenty of talk telling about the exit of John Tortorella. Darren Dredger. Damn it! I thought I was right. He's a sportcaster for TSN, reported that he isn't expected to get a contract extension. Dreger says the organization has been unhappy with the constant controversy revolving Tortorella in the roster.
Wonder why.
Yeah, right. The first issue they mentioned was Pierre-Luc Dubois wanting out of Columbus and traded for Patrick Laine, who he says hasn't really fit in well. Where does Tortorella go from here? You got Buffalo, Ottawa, Seattle, to name a few more teams who could prosper to having a coach like Tortorella, but is his coaching style going to force him out of the league?
So one thing I want to say there, you're not going to see Tortorella land in Seattle. All the buzz and all the hype around Tortorella and the way he's been this season, it's been mostly negative, honestly. Mm-hmm. So Seattle isn't going to want to start a franchise with that kind of an atmosphere in the locker room and that kind of a spotlight on their team. I could see him ending up like a Babcock, being forced out of the league. Like, I think him and Babcock are on the same tier of coach in the way that they coach and their style of dealing with players and in general. So I could see him being forced out into like a back desk job.
Right.
But I don't know.
But not just out of the league in general.
At this point, well, Babcock's out of the league, right?
Babcock's out, but you're saying like in the Tortorella would stay in the league, but just as like in the back desk. You know what I'm saying?
No, an analyst job, like.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, not like behind the bench as assistant or GM, anything like that.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
I think he's more of like an analyst kind of guy, if anything.
Right.
But I don't. Again, like, it's weird because Babcock and Tortorella are very similar in my eyes, and I don't think Babcock or Tortorella have the personality for it. But Babcock's doing pretty well with it, right?
Yeah.
Did he get released? I forget. Something happened.
I can't remember. I think he got released.
We're dumbasses, man. I always bring up shit that we didn't even talk about beforehand. Why didn't I see this when the second I saw Tortorella think like I'm gonna say something about Babcock and like figure out what the hell's going on with Babcock? Like they're the same to me. Don't you think?
It's just it is what it is, buddy. It is what it is.
Man.
But we did talk about Babcock earlier. I just don't remember what it was.
Something happened to him. Man.
Something happened to him.
He got hit by a bus.
I can't remember what it was. But no. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I'll something
Babcock here,
something
Billy.
right here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. But I wonder if we're gonna see the same shit. Like who's the player that I'm gonna put you on the spot here now too? Who's the player that hated
Mike Commodore.
Mike Commodore.
There you go, nailed it.
Who's nailed it?
Another aspect of this too, the Blue Jackets are on an 8-game losing streak, so why would they want Tortorella back?
And Merzlikins came out last night and just kind of shitted on. He goes, "I know we're trying, but he's like, I'm sick of losing."
Do you think Columbus is honestly going to be gone? Like maybe they'll pack up shop and move. Could be that too. Nobody wants to play in Columbus. We talked about this a couple episodes ago.
But is that because of John Tortorella?
No. It's always been Columbus too. People don't want to be in Columbus, Ohio. No offense to our Ohio listeners.
Savage, dude.
Dude, you talk shit about living in Buffalo all the time. It's the same thing. 6 of one, half dozen the other.
Yeah, you gotta.
And you don't apologize to the Buffalo fans. You say, "Fuck you. I know you'll be here next week anyways."
Yeah, you got a good point. You got a good point. And the worst part is,
it's just known.
Yeah, I want to know what players are gonna come out when like Tortorella's gone and like someone retires, like another Mike Commodore, and just like fucking hated Tortorella. Like this is the kind of shit he did.
Yeah,
I'm sure he forced. Like Pierre-Luc Dubois wanted out. I guarantee it was because of him.
Yep.
I guarantee you Bobrovsky and what's his name? Aaron. Yep. Wanted to get out of there.
I don't know. It honestly was like everybody that leaves there wants to go to a bigger market. That's what Pierre-Luc Dubois said before he got fucking pounded to Winnipeg. They said, "Screw you. Go to a bigger market there. Have fun."
Right.
And then they bring in Laine. And Laine is actually pretty good, I thought.
The worst part is Tortorella. We're just like, you're like, oh, Laine played good, and then he's like randomly benched, and you're like, wait, what? What happened? I don't know.
Their goal differential too is -48. That is bad. Red Wings are -42 for perspective.
Rough.
That's bad.
Actually, speaking of Buffalo, I guess we'll stay on that subject. Well, not really, but there's this girl that I found on YouTube. I can't remember her name for the life of me. But she's a huge Buffalo fan, and she's well known. She's got like a lot of subscribers and shit, and just huge Buffalo. And it's been interesting seeing her videos from a Buffalo fan perspective with everything going on, and the fact that like how the team is, and she's just like, nope, still repping Buffalo. She was shitting on Taylor Hall when he left to like Boston. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Can't remember her name.
Back office is like very. Poorly spoken of. It's not highly regarded at all by the fans of Buffalo. They don't like the owner, GM.
Right, nothing.
Like top down, they don't like it.
They got to go through a whole. They're definitely doing like a total revamp. I mean, they have to, man. So I think the last subject at hand for the night. It's actually a big one, buddy. I'm sure someone's got to have heard of him. We heard of him.
I've heard of him before you wrote it down here, too.
So, 15-year-old Connor Bedard becoming a top prospect. Bedard is currently playing in the Western Hockey League for the Regina Pats. He has 12 goals and 16 assists in the 15 games he's played as a rookie. Bedard in 2018-2019 played for West Van Academy and the Canadian Sports School Hockey League under 15 club. He blew the roof off with 64 goals and 24 assists in 30 games. That's That's two. What is that? I can't do the math.
That's
What's 2 goals
88.
at least?
It's almost three points a game.
Right. Isn't that insane?
And in the WHL, his rookie year, he's over. No, sorry, just under a point a game. 2 points a game. Sorry. So 2 points a game in WHL and 3 points a game in the CSSHL.
That's nuts. That is nuts. And again in 2019-2020 with 43 goals and 41 assists in 36 games.
So 84 and 36.
So,
about a little more than 2 again.
So he's just nuts. He's blowing it up, man. So Connor Bedard is a center from North Vancouver and will be eligible for the NHL draft. There we go. I'm just going to use draft in 2023. He became the first WH player ever to be granted exceptional status to play major juniors at the age of 15. Actually, talking about this, I didn't write it down, but Kirill Kaprizov in Russia was almost granted it. He was almost going to be at the same age, I think 14 or 15, was almost going to play
their version of it?
Juniors. Yeah.
Okay.
What is it? The MHL, Major Hockey League. I think that's what it is.
Yep.
And he was almost gonna get it, and they're just like, no, we can't do the exception. So
damn.
Him and Kirill have something in common. But definitely be on the lookout for this kid. I want to know where the hell he's gonna go.
If I'm having a boy, it's gonna be Connor. That's a pro tip for everyone out there that wants to go to a nice retirement home.
Right. I think the biggest thing too is he's not eligible to draft till 2023, and all like the trades and everything. Like all the draft picks are like 2022.
Pick is gonna be looked after.
We don't know what the hell's gonna happen. So that's gonna be interesting. 15 years old, man.
Going to Edmonton.
Crushing it.
Another first-round pick to Edmonton.
You know what it reminds me of is Bobby Orr is Western Hockey League, right? I can't remember what the hell
Nailed it again.
Nailed it. But Bobby Orr was up there. Oh, no, it was the St. Pat's. No. Fuck. It was Ottawa, right? Oh, my God. Shit. Yeah, but he was up there, and at the same age, like 14, 15, and got drafted.
Damn,
Drafted. It's just drafted now. Drafted. Yep. So, I'm special. I'm just a special guy. Special guy tonight. Can't even think. Just burnt out. Been up since 3:40 a.m.
You're burnt out, buddy. I've been burping and changing diapers, and oh my goodness.
Yeah, I got a good point.
Oh,
you're worse than I am.
I am excited to go to bed.
It's 12:30 a.m. currently. I've been up almost 24 hours and 3 hours from now.
I'm taking big advantage of the nurses at the hospital taking care of the baby right now. She's still in the NICU. So she's doing well, though. Everything's going good.
Yeah, take care of my kid. I'm going to go home.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, and they want us to take advantage of that, but we're still there.
You got to enjoy
12 hours
You got to enjoy this while you can, buddy. You got to get that
Every
sleep.
3 hours they have to eat. You know that?
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I was telling Tara that. I'm like, I think I originally said 2 hours. She goes, what? And I'm like, I think it's 2 hours, but you said 3 hours?
Yeah, so they said today, they actually told us every 3 hours, but at night, if the doctors say it's okay with like the weight gain and everything's going normal, you can try and push it to 4 hours overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So right now she's 8, 11, 2, 5, and then same thing overnight, 8, 11, 2, 5. But at night, so you would go 8, 11, 2, 5 during the day, and then you go 8, 12, 4, and then 8, 11, 2, 5 during the day.
I'm going to have to come over with like
a notepad,
big Red Bulls and like big Monster Energy drinks.
You might have her down here one night just on my arm right here. Goo goo gaga.
I'm going to be talking, and instead of Chris getting up to go to the bathroom, he's just going to be like,
yeah. I'm going to be getting up to change a diaper.
Yeah, well, Chris takes his, what should we say? So we'll in like a month from now, we'll just call it the normal 10-minute nap, like in the middle of the podcast instead of the bathroom break. Be like, well, while he's taking his 10-minute nap, I got something to talk about.
Yep, there you
go. So, congratulations, buddy.
Thanks, man.
It's been a crazy few weeks.
Yeah.
We talked about, it was at the end of definitely not last episode, but the episode before, we knew it was coming, and we talked very casually about, like, you know, what to do. And
Joe came in the clutch last week, for sure.
Clutch.
Because we left Thursday night, and we've moved our recording from Thursday to Friday now. And I knew it wasn't going to happen, so I was like, dude, you can come use the studio, whatever you want to do. Pop down here if you need to.
Right. It was it was cool as shit. Because Thursday, I feel like I sent you some link or whatever, and then you text me right away. I was, oh, dude, you know what's crazy? We're on our way to the hospital right now. Mary Kay broke her water.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit. Yeah. So then, like, in my head, I'm like, what do we do? Do we skip, like, this week? Or, like, what do we do? But at the same time, like, Chris has way more like stuff to worry about than this. So I'm like,
right.
oh my God, who would I talk to about this?
The funniest part too, because when I was like, you can use the studio, whatever, I didn't even tell MK because I was like, if I tell her, like, she's got way too much going on, she doesn't give a shit.
She doesn't give. Yeah, she
so
doesn't care.
like the next day when she was recovered and everything, I was like, by the way, Matt and Joe are going by. Billy's at the house. Like, we're good. I'm gonna have them use the studio, record the podcast.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't tell you then, but it's fine, right? She's like, yeah, it's no problem. So
Luna, your dog definitely missed us. Well, she had no idea what was going on. We came over.
she knows, dude. So when you said Mary Kate's water broke, like
Yeah.
it broke in the bedroom and shut the door, and like I pushed the dog out. I was like, stay out. But like dogs
She
have a
knew.
sense of smell. Like
Yeah,
she knows what's up.
Yep.
And we gave her a blanket with the baby's scent on it, and so she knows the baby's here.
Right.
But every day when we come home from the hospital, she's like, "Is she here? Is she here?" Like
Yeah.
looking for like Christmas present. Like, where
What's
is
going
it?
on? Well, now she
And
knows
she's-
the scent too. She goes, "Where's that scent?"
And she's
Yeah.
probably pissed at MK because she's been with her for this long, like so protective of my wife. And we go to the hospital and come home, and the baby's not in the belly anymore, and you don't have her. So Luna's probably like,
Where
"I've
the
been
hell
watching
to
you
go?"
9 months. What did you do? Like, I let you out of my sight for one day, and it's gone."
But she was definitely confused. So it was so funny because I was like, well, at first I was gonna do the show at my house, but my house is like it's nothing as good as this, and like the place I was gonna do it, and
And you
it's
didn't
all-
have the mics.
It's
and,
all
and
windows. I
anything
didn't
that
have
we
mics or anything.
You know?
So I was like, yeah, like at last second, I was like, oh, all right, I know what I'm gonna do. I'll have Joe on, and then like, so me and Joe are texting back and forth, like, all right, I'll have you on. You can come over to my house. She's like, okay, cool. So like, I'm literally in bed doing this, and so I shut off. I'm starting to lay down, close my eyes. I'm like, oh shit, I don't have any other stuff. So like, Chris, thankfully you're up. I'm like, Chris, I'm like, do you mind if I like go over your
I
house
was
like
up
grab
all right.
stuff? Yeah, you were up. So he's just like, dude, just use the house.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
So we come over. Come over with me, Joe, Billy, our producer was there, and his girlfriend, who, oh, this is so funny. I didn't even know she was even here. So we were just sitting there talking, and Luna's just there, just like, well, I know all three of you, but where the hell's Dad, Mom? Like, where is everyone? What the hell's going on? And then, it's so funny. So me and Joe came down here. Billy went out. We were going to have him on too, but Billy had to drive around.
Oh yeah. He was dropping my mother off
yeah.
and picking people up, stuff
Right.
like that.
So after the podcast, we go upstairs and we're having a few beers, we're drinking, we're talking to Billy, me and Joe. And Billy's sitting down on the chair, me and Joe are like standing up. It's like 1:30 in the morning at this point. And Billy's just like
Kind of burn off those Bombays, huh?
oh God. That's what I was telling Joe. I'm like, hey, I gotta wait this out before I go home. So Billy's just like, I can't remember what he said. He goes, oh yeah, it's like, oh, my girlfriend's here. But the way he did it was like he went like this, like toward like the hallway. He's like, oh yeah, she's here. And I'm like, wait, Billy's like, she's here? And then all of a sudden I hear her go, hi. And I'm like, what the fuck? She comes out, so we chill for like another like hour.
Oh, okay, that's funny.
So it was cool as shit. It was just so funny. I'm like, I didn't even know she was there. She was like hiding.
Everybody's just hanging out at my house.
Oh yeah, while you're freaking out in the hospital, we're all just kind of hanging out. Oh, did I tell you about the last thing before we leave here? We're talking about you having the kid, but so my grandfather had 8 children, and when my mother was going into labor with me, it was a 24-hour ordeal.
Jesus.
But it was my grandmother and my aunt that was with her the entire time. My grandfather comes in and he sits there for like maybe 2 hours, and I guess in his head he goes, whatever, I'm just gonna go home. So he goes home, like eats dinner, gets like plenty of sleep, comes back to the hospital. I was literally born like 2 hours like after like he gets there, and like my aunt, my grandmother, my mom is just like exhausted. Meanwhile, my grandfather's just like wide awake, like, hey buddy, what's going on?
I'm here.
So that's what 8 kids does. He's just like, I can wait this out.
Oh man.
Maybe number 2 will be different way for you. Be able to sleep.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm leading up to this. I have been like so scared for like lack of sleep. Like I'm a person that like I need my sleep in order to operate, and having a kid just you don't have time to sleep.
It destroys
you
it.
know.
I think I can definitely see with the guys I work with, like all the guys I work with that are like, especially new fathers or just fathers in general, they live off like 4 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I
you
was
gotta
like,
be able to operate on it.
Right. And like we have breaks in between. Like we can have like a 2-hour break, and like they'd be exhausted, but I'm like, oh, you're gonna take a nap? He goes, oh no, I'm just gonna walk around downtown or whatever. I'm like, how do you survive? But I guess the years and years of just like not getting sleep. So that's gonna be you, buddy.
Yeah, I have some bags under my eyes in a couple weeks. Don't worry.
Just drooling on the podcast. All right, buddy. So, like I promised like I promised everyone, I got better nips this time. Not last week though.
Okay.
Fucking definitely not last week.
I got Doctor's Menthol Mint. I've been waiting for this one. So, and after this, I think I'm on to the 99s, right?
Yep.
I bought a variety pack of the 99s. I got 10 different ones.
So that's what Joe did last week.
Yeah.
And then I have the Rumple Mints. This is the peppermint schnapps. I like peppermint schnapps. It's good.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
Nice. Should go down nice and easy, buddy. So congratulations again.
Thank you.
Episode 22.
Cheers to Emma-Jean.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Haven't done one of those in a couple weeks.
Yeah, me neither. You know what it tastes like? No. It's funny.
I've never had this one. Would you say it's the same as Dr. Mint?
I never had Dr. Mint. That's the
You
problem.
haven't had this one?
No, never had one.
You should. This one's good.
I'm not a.
This is twice as strong.
Really?
Yeah, the Rumple Mint's 50%. This is 24.
It literally tastes like you those peppermint patties or whatever. It literally
Yeah.
tastes like you just like put it in your mouth and swallowed it.
Yeah, it's like a spray.
It's good. Yeah.
You know?
Do you want to lead us out, buddy? This
Yeah,
is your
for sure.
episode.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. If there's anything you want to see us cover next episode, let us know. Our links are in the description, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye, guys.